Welcome to Mr. Brandt's 5th grade everyday math review. In this video, we're going to be going over lesson 5.4, subtraction of fractions and mixed numbers. And like in 5.3, addition of fractions and mixed numbers, we talked about how you have to start by finding a common denominator. In lessons 5.1 and 5.2, we go over a number of ways of finding a common denominator, so if you want to refer back to those, you can. Otherwise, let's jump right in. So the first one we're going to do here is 5/6, and we're going to subtract 1/2. 5/6 subtract 1/2. To find a common denominator for this particular problem, I'm going to start with the multiples. 6, 12, 18, and then we'll find the multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, and I can stop there because 6 is the smallest number that's the same for both. So I'm going to find equivalent fractions with 6 as a denominator. For 5/6, it's obviously not going to change, but just to go through the process, 6 times 1 is 6. So if we do 6 times 1, we also have to do 5 times 1. So again, that doesn't change. And for half, 2 times 3 is 6. So if we do 2 times 3 to get 6, we also have to do 1 times 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. 5/6 subtract 3/6 equals 5/6 subtract 3/6 equals 2/6. Now you can leave it at that, or if your teacher is having you simplify them, 2/6 is the same as 1/3. So you could have 2/6 or 1/3. For our next problem, let's go ahead and do 3 1/3 subtract 1 2/3. 3 1/3 subtract 1 2/3. Now, for this particular problem, you can see we already have a common denominator, so we don't need to worry about finding a common denominator. When I do mixed numbers, I didn't do this in the addition one. Sometimes I do, but I think about separating it with the fraction and the whole number, and sometimes dealing with those separately. So I cannot take 2/3 away from 1/3. So 1/3 subtract 2/3. I can't do that. So I need to do some trading. And to trade, I'm going to start by taking one whole from the 3. Now I'm going to draw a picture over here to kind of show what this looks like. So 3 1/3 all right, so I've got my 3 whole rectangles, and I've got 1/3 of another rectangle, and I want to take away 1 2/3 from that. So looking at the fraction part, right now I can't take away 2/3. So I'm going to have to trade, or I'm going to have to break apart this whole rectangle into 3/3. So if I look at this, how many thirds do I have total? I have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. So when I'm doing this with the algorithm, and I take away 1 from the 3, I'm going to take the 1 and add it to this side. So I'm going to add 1 to this side, but to do that, I'm going to add it with thirds, okay, like we did here. So now 1/3 plus 3/3 is 4/3. And you can see the 4/3 right here. Now I can take my 4/3 and I can subtract my original 2/3, and that leaves me with 2/3. So I can take away 1/3, 2/3, which leaves me with these 2/3. Now over on this side I can do 2 subtract 1, and that gives me 1. So if I take away this one, that leaves me with this one. And when I combine those, my correct answer is going to be 1 2/3. 1 2/3. All right, for my last example, I'm going to do 3 1/3. And this time I'm going to subtract 1 1/2. So my first step is to find a common denominator, and to do that I'm going to start with my multiples again. So multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, and then my multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, and 6 is my least common multiple. So I'm going to make equivalent fractions using 6 as a denominator. So 3 times 2 is 6. So if I do 3 times 2, then I have to do 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So that gives me 2/6. 2 times 3 is 6. So I have to do 1 times 3 is 3. Now I have equivalent fractions with common denominators. I cannot do 2/6 subtract 3/6. So I need to use, I have to exchange 1 of the 3, and I have to add the 1. I'm going to add 1 to this side in the form of a fraction. Since the denominator is 6, I'm going to add 6/6. So 2/6 plus 6/6 is 8/6. Then I can take my 8/6 and subtract the 3/6 from right here. 8/6 subtract 3/6 is 5/6. Then for my whole numbers, 2 subtract 1 is 1. So I'll take my whole number, I'll take my fraction, and I have 1 5/6. All right, for the practice problems at the bottom. For your practice problems, they're asking you to choose from a list of numbers based on a statement. So, for example, our statement here, write a number that has a 5 in the hundredths place. Well, I know that the hundredths place is 2 digits after the decimal. And so 2 digits after the decimal would be tenths place, hundredths place. That's a 7, so that doesn't work. Decimal point, tenths place, hundredths place. This number has a 5 in the hundredths place. So we would write 8 and 25 hundredths on the line. Then the next one says a 9 that is worth 9/10. I know I'm done with this one. Here, the tenths place that has a 1, and this number, the tenths place, has a 9. So 3 and 961 thousandths has a 9 that is worth 9/10. Hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope you have a great evening.